Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to another F You Pay Me replay review. This time we have a twofer on the cards for you, and we, of course, are joined by my new replay review co-host. His name is Thurnus. I remembered this time, and we're going to be watching Tatsu, who I'm going to go ahead and go on a spiel, and I'm going to slow down a little bit while we go on it. He is currently one of the co-founders and one of the main people behind the Sanctuary project, which, if you watch the interview on Steel Speaks channel, you know I am a part of the Sanctuary team to an extent. I'm contracted with them. So I do want to go ahead and say the obligatory Sanctuary link down in the description. Go check it out. It'll be dope. And let's go ahead and tear into this prolific man's... I don't know. I don't know why I'm ego-stroking Tatsu. He doesn't need it. He's good. How's it going, Thurnus?
Oh, you know, it's going.
So what's your opinion of his opener so far? That's a lot of P-gens to queue with you.
I think it's way too many P-gens. I think get your mexes, get another factory online, walk to either one of these expansions.
Is this manual
He definitely just...
No, it's not.
No, it's an attack order.
All right. I don't think he does.
Which is just fine because it's okay.
Whoa.
There's nothing but rocks there.
Oh, this is a really strange queue. I didn't hold shift to realize how
I really don't like it.
Yeah.
He doesn't start his air grids until after his mexes in this queue, though.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, he definitely should not be starting those air grids. Not on a land map like this.
I think that I would be going for land factories way sooner, and I think after this fourth P-gen, you can probably just go for mexes and then send your comm away. I do like going for heavy early power, because on maps with no hydro, a lot of people run into the issue of stalling power. So these four P-gens, he didn't stall getting them, so I think so far it's reasonably balanced, but if he goes through this entire queue, it's definitely questionable.
If he goes through this entire queue, he's just wasting his time. His ACU needs to be elsewhere.
He'll be stalling before it's done, guaranteed, I think. Unless he gets some, like, crazy reclaim.
There's a lot of reclaim. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's over 60,000 on this map, so...
So he does have a lot of engineers out, and he's getting a lot of expansions, even queuing up point defense next to both of these mexes. It's very pretty placed point defense. And, trying to figure out the reasoning as to why these factories are the way they are, but I don't think there is one. Just really quickly did a line.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's starting to feel like it's a little bit late for starting to produce land units. I think
let's see, what's our time?
Yeah, we're at almost 3 minutes now, and he has yet to build a tank or a scout.
He has not queued one up either, so...
It's
He's got a second factory online for engineers, which means one of them needs to be building tanks instead.
Or tank engineer, at the very least. If you're going to greed this much, tank engineer.
Yeah,
the air factory might be cool. We could see like an early bomber. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, because we could both just sit here and shit on this build order. But I'm like trying to like be positive about it.
Well, if he wanted to go for an early bomber, he should have done this far earlier. He's got interceptor bomber queued up in the factory.
Yeah.
I still see no tanks queued up.
Yeah. We're coming up on 4 minutes. You need tanks before 4 minutes. Like this mech marine. How are you gonna kill the mech marine? You still don't have a tank.
No tank. ACU hasn't walked, so therefore, technically, nothing is secured.
Yeah, I mean, over here, he's... Oh, T1 Bomber gonna get rid of his expanding engineer, so...
Yep, so now he really has no expansions.
Yeah, this is, you're gonna be really bottlenecked because you didn't build... Like, the Bomber was gonna get that engineer either way, but down here you could have expanded if you just sent in a tank with the engineer, and you had plenty of time to build a tank.
Yeah, there's nothing he was gonna do to stop the Bomber.
Yeah, this factory finally starts building tanks, and so does the first factory. So here at 4 minutes and 30 seconds, we're going to get our first attacking unit. I don't consider that Selin an attacking unit. They say it's a scout lab, but it's just a really crappy scout and a really crappy lab at the same time.
Yeah,
It's a fine
good.
scout. It's not that bad as a scout. I'll take that back.
He has a very... For how many engineers he has, and how few units he has, his economy's lacking. I know he has one mech's almost at T2.
I mean, admittedly, he has almost triple the reclaim. He has triple the reclaim of his opponent right now. So in total mass generated, he is up over 2,000, or almost over 1,000, 1.2 thousand. So
yeah, but let's not compare him to his opponent. For what he's doing, he hasn't built units and he's only got one T2 mechs. It's 5.5 minutes. If he's really going to build no units, 3 of these mechs should be upgraded at this point.
Gotcha. I'm not as good at eco, so I'm just going to take your word on that one.
Well, I mean,
I can help more.
got...
I can help more with the decisions that need to be made, as in, like, yeah, I agree. You should definitely eco harder. I just can't tell you exactly how hard, because I'm not that good at eco.
He's got almost 1,000 mass in the bank. He should be upgrading 2 of these mechs, as one of them assisted at the moment. And with the amount of reclaim that he's still picking up,
I feel that one thing that can help his early game is less P-gens, more factories. Like,
less P-gen, more factory. He's producing way too much right now. His ACU's not on the front,
you have
so
enough.
No
he has enough power and mass right now. I think he could just casually get nano and gun.
Yes, yeah. He could definitely get gun.
That would be a
get nano.
Yeah, I think that would be a decent investment. Like, nano guncom before 10 minutes is broken, and right now he has ecoed enough to get that, but it's like, it's a weird fine line where it's like, do you want to do that or eco even more and get up to like T2 production? But
so he's
also, he's had an air factory. It was his second or third factory built. They were building at the same time.
Scouting.
Yeah, if you get an air factory, you may as well build T1 air scouts and just have a vague idea of what's happening on the other side of the map. It helps.
Like, let's see, what's his factory queue here?
I do like him building lines of factories now, but I feel that they needed to start being built a while ago.
Okay, replay's bugging out for me. I'm not allowed to see what he's building. Or his queue is.
In which one?
Any of them. What's his air factory?
His air factory is queued to just interceptor on repeat. All of the factories that I've looked at are just tank, not even Selens mixed in. It's just tank. Which means that one Selen he built is the only Selen he's gonna have.
So
which I guess if you're just building tank, it's not a problem, because these tanks have higher view range than they have attack range. Higher vision than attack range. So
yeah, and against a UEF opponent it doesn't matter because
you don't have
the
Aurora.
Same tank range. Yeah.
Auroras are the only ones that absolutely must have scouts, or you're playing it wrong, I feel.
He has queued up an absolutely massive line of... Never mind, he got rid of them.
T1 factories?
Yes.
Yeah,
and
I
he
saw
stopped
that.
actually building this one. Okay. He's got no radars.
He's doing a decent job on the land micro, though. Like, on the northwest side, I think it's a little bit lacking. He should realize that, hey, you're outnumbered and there's a T1 bomber. Stop pushing it. I think you're outnumbered even when the reinforcements show up. But on the southeastern side, he did decent. He realized he was ahead on units and he pushed forward. I like that.
Yeah, if you realize you're ahead, kill it. It means less units that they have.
Yeah, I also am curious as to... I don't think... as I said, we're not comparing him to his opponent, but I think that on this map in particular, I really do like getting the artillery in the middle and just going for that reclaim.
So, let's just assume there's only that 3,200 mass and point defense is defending it. You want to get it, doesn't fucking matter. There's also 9 mixes. There's actually way more than 3,200 mass here with the PDs, the AAs, and all these civilian structures. There's about 7,000.
Yeah, it's a crazy amount of mass.
That's a crazy amount of mass. The fact that people just ignore it because, oh, what if the enemy takes a hold of it? Okay, but what if they don't?
Yeah.
Don't kill the PD on their side. You don't have to
I
kill
do
the PD
think
on their side
I
to
do
get to
agree.
the
I
zone.
do agree with the mentality that if I had to choose between trying to win the flanks, like these expansion areas to the west and south of Tatsu, or trying to go for that middle area, I usually would go for trying to get both flanks. Because I think map control is huge, and the middle area is admittedly going to be hard to hold. But it's not like it's not like we live in a fantasy world where you can't do both. You can because to get the middle, all you need is a couple artillery, and if your opponent doesn't go for it, then it's just pure profit.
Yeah, if we want to think about it in the map control sense, fight for either the bottom corner or the top corner and the middle. The middle has more mass extractors than either flank. It's got 9 mexes in the middle.
So Tatsu's got his comm really exposed right now, and this gives me anxiety. I know he's sending units up, but like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of units here and the enemy comm here. You're really exposed. I don't know what to do, other than say don't walk down here without units. I mean, did he have units when he walked down here?
No, he didn't.
Huh.
But he's got no. This comes down to he has 0 radar, 0 intelligence. He has no idea what his opponent is doing.
I thought he built a scout plane for a second, but I think it's actually just the radar range of that bomber.
Yep, that's what that is. Scout plane's got way bigger radar range.
This should be something noticeable. I mean, they're both building PD, and the one who starts first wins unless they reclaim each other. Oh! Oh! Hey!
Reclaim war!
Oh no, he's gonna lose it! He has 2 engineers! Oh, he's going for the capture! Why? No! No! Don't lose the reclaim war! You're in a 2v1!
Alright, fighter bomber over his base now.
A fighter bomber? I don't think so.
Gonna get shot down. It already got shot down. I'm a couple seconds behind.
Oh. Was that actually a Janus?
Yep.
Huh, his opponent went for T2 air, which that should immediately, like, proc a thing in your brain that's like, okay, interceptors, and I'm winning T2 land, because he went T2 air. Like, T2 air is not cheap.
No, it is not.
I still am not happy that the comm is down here all kind of secluded.
He's even got a radar online now.
I think that if his opponent realizes it and just sends all of his units and his comm down to where Tatsu is, his opponent just wins this. Which those are like...
Tatsu is now overflowing a shit ton of mass. And he's going to have power problems.
He has T2 engineer, so he could fix his power problems by building either T1 power with the T2 engineer, or by building T2 power and just stalling through it. Which that looks to be what he's going to do.
I wonder what's making him power stall like this.
He probably was going into a mass stall. I can't see it right now. I don't see where it would be. But my guess is T2 mechs upgrades. He has at least one on his...
He's got 2 going.
Also, just the fact that he has so many T2 mexes and he only really has those T1 power that he built earlier. It's only 28 T2 power, or T1 power, so it's like... You can spin that reasonably. It just takes a bit to build up to that point. He's losing a bunch of territory because he just doesn't have the unit production to keep up right now, but he is going T2. He has 1, 2, 3, 4... He has 4 T2 factories. That's what's eating all of his power. I think. And all of them are producing T2.
He's also got 9 T2 mexes, each taking 9 mass, so...
Or 9 power. Yeah, so
that's 81 power.
It's it's a bunch of little things that are eating up his power, but he's fixing it. He's gonna have a T2 power online very soon.
Yeah, he definitely has he upgraded his stuff.
Oh, he built power down here in the bottom right, which actually really helped him out with the comm.
Interesting. I'd love to see him, build that X next to his ACU and that NG.
Yeah, it's working on it now. And he's now getting Ilsheva production. He's now sending out bombers. This is going to be the first scouting he's going to see in a while, and that's a lot of units to contend with, but he does have Ilshevas now, so he can probably just deal with it. Just waits a little bit, get a few more Ilshevas up, and you can deal with all this T1 pretty easily.
Probably 7 Elshis microed is like critical mass over that land force.
Yeah.
Oh, especially with the T1 bombers just ripping
also,
into it.
with just how many Ilshevas are coming out of his factories right now, I think that He just wins this land force. Like he can just move in and still win it because reinforcements will get here faster than his opponents. Plus, the T1 bombers are not doing a bad job of just 4 kills,
no,
1 kill, 5 kills. They're doing all right. The western side's starting to look dire. He doesn't have his... Since he completely cut off T1 production, which this is something I also struggle with, but you gotta keep a few T1 factories producing while you transition to T2, or you have to have a large enough standing T1 army. Otherwise, stuff like what's happening on the west happens, and you lose a bunch of territory simply because you ran out of T1 units while trying to get T2 units online, you know?
Yep.
So
if these were any units other than Elshis, this T1 would have been enough to just run over this.
Well, if they were any units other than Elshis, there'd be a lot more of them.
That's also true.
Because if these were pillars, you would have almost double the amount of pillars, which would have still just crushed this. I think mass for mass.
21 Elshis, you'd have over 40.
Yeah, I think mass for mass, any T2 army at this point wins. Except for maybe, like, some weird combination of Blaze? Maybe, no,
Pretty
Blaze
much
is
anything other than Obsidians.
I think Obsidians might even win.
Even Rhinos. Rhinos probably wouldn't win strictly because of the terrain.
Yeah, the terrain's really not good. But I think he's already won. I don't think the comm can run away from these Ilshis.
Yeah, I don't know if he's realized that or not, though.
It seems like he has. He's moving past the comm, which is what I would do if I wanted to attack the comm. If he has target priority.
To a very odd point.
Alright.
I think he's just giving them an attack order now. Nope, he's just moved it. Okay.
Yeah, he's just walking by. I mean, even with these units showing up, these units just die to the Ilshis, and then the Ilshis get to go retarget on the comm. The comm isn't a gun comm. It may have overcharge, but I don't even think that's the case. I haven't seen it overcharged once.
It does, but what's terrible is he only has 1 energy storage, so he can't one-hit the Elshis.
He can only kill the ones that are already damaged.
Yep.
Yeah, he's right-clicking on the comm. It's gonna be close, but no, the comm goes down to this. So that's a GG.
Yeah, there's... So...
Alright.
Oh, his base is being firebombed to hell in the end.
Alright, so if those Elshis didn't win it, he might be losing it.
He would have lost.
Yeah, he would have lost.
If those Elshis didn't kill him right there, like they did, his base is gone.
So, I guess the main advice I would give is your opener was both too greedy and too... It was too greedy, but not greedy enough at the same time. It was weird. Like, you went for this really heavy, like, delaying your units for 4 to 5 minutes to get a bunch of Ingies and get a bunch of reclaim. But
and
you
then
didn't...
to all around just stop building the economy. It was
but
odd.
You didn't throw that all into mexes, which is what people normally do if they do that NG style. Or they do that NG style and get a bunch of factories really early and try and transition it into a bunch of spam. It seems like you had a good idea with like, hey, I'm going to get all of the natural reclaim. I'm going to have all of these engineers for build power, which is admittedly... I am happy we're seeing somebody who's having the opposite problem of you didn't build engineers. He built engineers, which was good.
Yeah,
I think that's a better direction than what we've had recently with everybody building 0 engineers.
Yeah, it's a good change of pace. He went to continue to upgrade his mexes and never expanded out of his original power grid. Until he was stalling in T2.
Yeah. Also, I think after seeing that first T1 firebomber, or T2 firebomber, that first Janus,
he needed more inties, and he never responded.
another air factory, because at the time he saw that, he was overflowing mass. Yeah, flak works too.
Flak works too. He didn't build any of that either. He just never really.
But in the end, though, the person who builds a bunch of T2 assault units and throws them at the enemy comm wins. I do agree with that. It was a very good decision, and I think he really correctly identified that, like, these Ilshivas need to win the game for me, because he basically threw everything to the wind to get that many Ilshivas. So...
Which sometimes is valid.
Yeah, there was good decision making, but there was also weird decision making. It was a mixed bag, but I I don't know. I feel like we gave some pretty decent advice.
Yeah, all around, don't be as greedy with your opener. Or if
Yeah.
you're going to be that greedy, you need more power with it.
You have
because...
to you have to commit to the greed. You have to commit to, like, if you're gonna be that greedy early on, you have to commit to just like, if they throw everything into T1 spam, I lose. But if they don't, I win.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're going to move on to the next player who we're going to be replay reviewing today. So stay tuned. There is still a bunch of time left to watch this video, and we're going to transition now. Patrow! We'll have a transition effect. Ooh, transition! We're watching RLO now. RLO, this is your replay review. I hope you're not upset with going second in the replay review list thingamajig, but it's RLO. He's playing on Loki, and he's starting with the first factory. And Thurnus is going to take it from here. I'm just going to let Thurnus do the entirety of this replay review.
Oh, I am.
No.
Am I now?
No.
Oh, thank God.
I do like the GLHF U2. Sportsmanship is important. What the heck? How did no? How did that happen? He accidentally miscued his power, but how? You just drag a line.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
This seems like he's prepping for an air factory.
I know, but like whenever I was just talking about the thing where he
had
it. Yeah, I just that's what I was.
Yeah, I didn't. It bothered me.
It really bothered me. I was like,
really like his factory opener. It's definitely set up for raids. Well, not this actually isn't raids. This is like a defensive measure.
He went what 3 NG into tank scout, 2
3
NG.
3 NG tank scout, yeah. So this is like defend your mexes kind of deal.
Yeah.
There's no labs, so there's no real raids that he would do with this.
I also feel that raid. Call me stupid or whatever, but I feel like I haven't seen a T1 lab raid do anything in about 4 years. I don't think it's all that worth it. I think
kill
it's
an NG that's going to go expand to 3 mexes, you set them back by 1.5 minutes. It's worth it. It may not mass value pay for itself right there, but it paid for itself in time.
I feel like players now build so many damn engineers, and I always try and send multiple engineers whenever I go to expand. Because I just expect some shenanigans. Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I'm not at a level yet where it matters. Which is probably true. But also, I like the style of just sending a tank with your NGs as they expand, and just not worrying about going to the other side of the map and stopping them from expanding. He does send
I mean, you can do both. Either is valid.
Yeah. He does send the first tank scout combination out over here, and he notice this? There's an unknown unit. He needs to notice this.
If he's familiar with the map, he knows that's just a civilian truck.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they were civilian trucks. I haven't played Loki in God knows how.
Yeah, no, if you're familiar with the map, there's 4 civilian trucks on each side. Well, I think it's actually
Aren't
5.
they worth like a bunch of reclaim too?
They're like $1.14.
A buck for
158. $1.14. They're $1.14. I don't know. I'm not sure in the exact amount, but it's between 114 and 158.
Gotcha. So his scout dies to a lab, I think, or that was a Selene. So
Yep.
He continues to move the tank forward, which I think is the right call. But his tank should just die to the first tank out of his opponent's fact. The Selene had radar on that for sure.
It did, but it didn't get hit, so it depends.
If
it depends on if there's a Selene or if this is microed or not.
Yeah. Oh, there's a Selene. Yep, alright. I still think it's good to send your tank out and to try and get at least 1 mex, but it was hopeful. Hopeful thinking. Also, I guess you were fishing for the engineer that's coming out over here. He's still doing a lot of microing
This tank really well.
Okay, I just thought it was over, but you microed it well enough to kill the Selene and the Thom, so UEF power.
Striker good.
Yeah, Striker dope.
Second fam came in to kill it.
Over here, he's got a bunch of units coming out here, but I think he forgot to send an engineer to expand. Yeah, this engineer was kind of sitting here idle. Like. It was sitting idle for a bit. I think maybe he got into that thing where he thought he queued up both mexes and then queued this up, but he just didn't queue this up.
Yeah, no. He's gotten his back mexes. He's got an engineer going for his 3 here. I don't know where this ACU's going. I don't really like where it's going regardless. It should be going up to the left. Oh, okay. It should still be going up towards the left because that's 7 mexes that you want your ACU to hold on to.
You could, you could make an argument that if he gets his comm down to the south, it's also 7 mexes. Both corners have the same amount of mexes. It is,
but it's a longer walk.
Yeah, but if he can go up here and he can manage to hold it without his comm, then...
Yeah, but...
It could work out to your favor. I think this is a more aggressive way to send your comm. This is definitely more aggressive.
Oh, no, 100%.
I think it's a choice, because I've seen high-rated games where players do both. I've also seen high-rated games where people come over here to this pond with their comm. They walk all the way out through the pond.
And then they take that bottom.
Did that bomber get any significant kills? I wasn't watching it.
It got 1 NG. It got 1 NG, that was it.
I don't think it was worth it.
Itself.
It wasn't worth it at this point, because he has multiple NGs on this flank, I'm sure. No. Let's see, does he have... How's his economy doing? He's doing all right. He's got some mass in the bank, but that's good.
It's not bad.
Yeah, no.
He could afford another factory.
Or if he really, if he was feeling spicy.
He could get a T2 mech,
yeah, that's
and
what I
then
was
get a
thinking.
couple factories. Especially because now he's going to be picking up these mechs in the top left. He needs to figure out a way to actually spend this mass. ACU, in my opinion, still doing the wrong thing there.
I wonder what the logic behind this is, because he's trying to get adjacency on all 3 of these, it would seem. Yeah, I'm now agreeing. If he would sent it down aggressively to the south with some units to help, I think it could still be a good call, but now it just feels like he's building infrastructure that could have been built by an engineer.
Yeah, up towards his base, he's got 5 idled engineers that seemed like they were on an attack order, but ran out.
I don't think they ran out. I think they stopped because he was over the 80% on your mass bar, and that stops automated reclaim.
Yeah, probably. It seems like he's realized that he's moving them again.
Is he moving them to assist? He's moving them all to assist a T2 factory. I don't know if he can afford that though. Like all of the assistance on a T2 factory right now. That's a lot of assistance.
He'll be stalling, but he's got enough mass income to where those tanks will just come out fast.
Yeah.
And he's got enough power to do this. He could use a little more power.
Also, pillars are
cheap. He's
cheap.
up in energy storage. Pillars are very cheap.
So he'll be able to get a lot of pillars very quickly if that's what he wants. Or I guess he could do the sin of building mongoose and then walking them directly into a T1 tank army.
So, I'm sure you noticed, but he's got a large tank army going down towards the south. Now, as dumb as it is, those tanks can cross slowly, but they can cross through that pond.
Can they?
Yes.
How?
So, I've seen it happen. There's like a very small sliver of land. I believe it's on the right side. I don't know if it's been like fixed since then, but about a year ago, tanks used to just kind of be able to slowly make their way up.
That is a bit strange. He's also losing the left side, so I more so agree with you now.
Yes.
Since he wasn't aggressive with the comm and didn't really contest the 7 mexes that are supposed to go to his opponent.
Especially because the comm's doing nothing but assisting a factory upgrade. The ACU doesn't have to do that. The ACU's got more value in a 1v1 as 20 tanks.
Yeah.
So,
and it's more than 20 tanks. That 20 tanks thing is if it's in a vacuum comm versus 20 tanks. When you have your own tanks, your comm is worth more than 20 tanks.
Oh, 100%.
Like, way more. Your comm can easily, without any upgrades, get over 100 tank kills in constant combat the entire time.
Mm-hmm. He's still doing pretty decent on...
but he's definitely losing this expansion.
I don't think his economy. He's 100% lost the expansion. He'll be lucky if he's able to grab it.
He's gonna have a lot of T2 tanks coming out, so he might be able to re-grab it, but he needs, like... He needs a lot of them, and he needs them fast.
10 or so?
Yeah. That army that he sent to the south seems to have crashed and burned. I don't see it anymore.
Yeah, he never really had a big one in the south.
Oh, okay.
Or are you talking about blue?
No, I thought you said there was a big army going to the south from RLO.
No. Nope, I don't think I did, at least.
Okay, never mind. I'm hallucinating or something.
I'd like to see a radar go online anywhere.
He has a radar in his base, but it doesn't really go out that far. He could make it T2 if he has a T2 engineer. Did he build any T2 engineers?
He needs to realize his commander is under threat. I don't think so.
He did. He has... Oh, wait, no, that's not a T2 engineer. T1.
So he needs to realize his commander is under very large threat.
It really feels like he lost that...
over about 30 tanks.
It feels like he
lost that expansion because his ACU wasn't there.
He did a decent job with balancing his eco, but now it just feels like he's lost so many mexes that he doesn't... You have to pause so much when you lose 7 mexes.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels like he's about to be crushed just by sheer weight of enemy units. Doesn't seem like he has enough.
He does have a lot of pillars online now. Those could turn the fight.
But now there's a gun comm on the southern side. And that gun comm just is going to destroy
gun
pillars.
Pillars. It seems like things have gone really south.
Things went really south really quickly with him losing the western side and not being aggressive on this southern side. It's just things have gone very, very south, very sour very quickly, and I'm trying to like theory craft a way out of this, and it's honestly starting to kind of feel like you need to turtle because you need to either turtle or win that western side back very soon. He's going to get into a fight with Kenjiro's comm here. He's going to start throwing some shots out. I think that you should tell the comm to target anything but his enemy's comm and try and overcharge.
Yes.
Does he
Whenever you're in an engagement like this, the thing you always want to do with your ACU is target priority units. So for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, there's a UI mod called...
you're kind of breaking up like a robot, so I'm going to describe it.
Go for it.
So he was breaking up, but it's called Advanced Target Priorities, and it adds, I can't show you right now, but he adds a little bar down here where you usually choose like turning the weapons off on a unit or not, and it allows you to change the priority that your units will attack. So like you can tell let's just use a blanket example. You have a destroyer, and you want your destroyer to not shoot enemy frigates, but shoot other destroyers. You can click the button down there, there's a pop-up menu that shows up, and you can tell it to attack destroyers, or you can set those to hotkeys. It's super useful, and it means your units will target that type of unit over anything. With the comm, you can tell it to target units, and it will target units over everything else. And whenever it says units, it means anything that's not a structure or an ACU. So like it'll target engineers, tanks, everything else over the ACU. Say something, Thurnus? Are you still roboting for me?
I don't know. Am I?
A little bit. It's not as bad as it was.
Okay.
Was that a good enough explanation?
Yeah, that was plenty fine.
And it's called Advanced Target Priorities 1.1 or 1.0, I think, and it's in the mod vault, so you should just be able to look it up. Just get the most recent one, whatever. It's 1 point something. Get the most recent one. It works the best. And that's a very good recommended mod. He's managed to push Kanjiro into the water here, and I think that, oh no, he sent all of his units to the south to do that, and this western side just continued to roll over him. His base is gone.
Yep. Unless he manages to kill that ACU right here, right now, which I don't think is possible, he lost.
Yeah.
I feel like this came down to he didn't put his ACU in the right placement. He didn't have enough. Again, another replay. This man has 0 scouting or radars.
I mean, he has radars and scouting, but they're all defensive.
No, he's got no scouting. There's 0 intelligence over that base. What he sees is because of that one tank.
Yeah. I meant defensive as in, like, he had radars for defense. I didn't mean scouting.
One in the base isn't.
He has 2 in his base.
Radar. Okay, those aren't defensive radars, though. That's cover the immediate area around my base. Those are almost pointless.
But man, it's really rough because, like, it comes down to he sent his comm right here and it didn't really do anything. I think as I said, I'm still gonna be the devil advocate. You can send your comm south on Loki and it work. I've seen high-rated people do it, but you have to be really aggressive with it.
And you can't put it there.
And
that's for sure.
As far as things to other things, you did really well on balancing your economy. I think that, like, the running theme with all of the replays we're looking at today, though, is it seems a lot of people who are sending in these replays for replay review, a lot of the people who pay for them, are struggling with getting more than 4 or 5 factories really early on. It felt like he also just got outproduced, because, like, he was sending almost all of his units, except for like 5 or 6 that were sitting down here, to that western side, and his opponent won that side with just units. So it definitely feels like you can if you continue to balance your economy the way you just did, and get up a couple more factories as you expand and put your comm in the right position, I think you're in a position to contest this game. Maybe not necessarily win it. Because there's also, like, the issue of not scouting all that well, and I also don't know if the T2 call was necessarily worth it. I think going for more T1 was a better call. I think he transitioned to T2.
Bad decision. I don't think a T2 transition, especially as UEF, is a bad call in the slightest, just because how cheap it is.
I think it was too early.
I actually don't. I think it was just fine. It is 16 minutes. It's not surprising to see T3 land at this point.
But, yeah, at this point, you don't really have a chance unless Kenjiro does something really stupid, like walk his comm into all of your pillars with your comm there.
Yeah, at this point, there is no base. Pretty much, you just need to hope he accidentally control Ks.
You could maybe get a draw.
A draw is also possible.
If you get his comm down low enough, you just control K and go for the draw.
That is... yeah.
But the enemy comm had more HP because it was vetted, so... which means it has more regen. Which means you just die before that happens.
Nah, on one vet, it's not enough.
I don't think that's one vet, is it?
1,003. Okay,
it's 2 or 3 vet. It's 2 vet.
But regardless, he's not just gonna up and die. It'll be close.
Wait. Oh. The T1 bombers are coming in. I was like, is he just gonna let this torpedo launcher happen? Oh. Here's the control K. Or no.
Actually, T1 bombers
did enough damage.
Because the water is so shallow.
Alright. Alright, so what's your advice for the end of this one?
All in all, this is more of a map awareness thing. He needed a radar. If you don't play Loki enough, I know you may not think, oh, I gotta send my ACU up to those top mexes. But generally, you want to send your ACU to where the most mexes are. Not the ones directly next to your base and then do nothing with your ACU afterwards. He just wasn't aggressive enough. His opponent did a lot of
I'm still gonna do the devil's advocate thing. Yes, there were 7 mexes he could have chosen from on both corners of the map. Play for both. He could play for one or the other corner. I've seen Loki both split vertically and horizontally. So, I think you can play for either side.
Oh, 100%. You can play for either side. I'm just saying, walking to your either left or right is faster. They're just closer.
Yeah. All right. My advice is, I think that you could go for probably 2 more T1 land factories before you transition to, and that would have helped out a lot on the western side with just not losing to his units. I think the 2 land factories down here didn't really amount to anything this game, especially since they didn't really produce any T1. They kind of just went straight to T2. But yeah, that's the end of this replay review for today. Let us know any feedback, criticism, anything you want to see changed about the replay review format in the comments. And if you are one of the channel members or the patrons and you have opinions on how we should do replay reviews, let me know. Or if you think the replay review system isn't worth the money, let me know. You all are beautiful. Thank you to the patrons. Thank you for the channel. Thank you to the channel members who make this series possible and also make this channel a lot more of a priority in my life. You all are awesome, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, you beautiful people. Like, comment, subscribe. Ernest, you say something? You want to say anything?
Fuck you, pay him.
There we go. That man represents. Sorry for the scattered brain discussion today. I don't know. I'm just not in the headspace for this, but we really needed to get it done. So yeah, peace.